Well, it is, number one. It is. They usually pride themselves a lot on running the football, and that's kind of the basis, for what they try to do. I mean, the running game is there's a little bit of timing up front, missing some combination blocks. They've had different guys in there from time to time, but it's something that you got to continue to work. I mean, when it hits, it hits, and it hits big, and those are the things that you have to really kind of guard yourself against defensively and do a good job, just like our defense has done the last couple of weeks.
Do you anticipate getting Zay Jones, Walker Little, maybe Devon Hamilton back this week?
I anticipate them doing something today in practice, and we'll go with that.
How are they doing in terms of their rehab and all that kind of stuff?
Great.
How well do you know Mike Tomlin, and just what has he sort of done over the last 15 years, I guess now, for the Steelers? He hasn't had a losing season, I believe.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I know Mike pretty well, and I've coached against him, several times now, and a lot of respect for him and what he's done there. Gosh, as you mentioned, he's won a lot of football games, double-digit wins, most of his career, and that's pretty impressive. Obviously championships and things of that nature, and he does a great job of just getting his teams prepared. The way he messages his team, motivates his team. They play hard, they play physical, they're fast. It's a disciplined group, and they always have been. And it's just it's kind of the tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers over time, through history, and he's definitely carried that on in his career there as the head coach.
How about Tyson?
Tyson,
Yeah.
he'll be in practice today, and yeah, we'll limit him, but we'll see where he's at as the week goes.
The last few weeks have kind of been rapid fire, game. You got a little bit of an extra break there. Sorry. Yeah, a little bit. I'm choked up. With that little extra break, do you worry about guys maybe taking their foot off the gas a little bit there and staying focused?
No, because that's my job to make sure that they don't. And that was the message this morning, and we got to get right back on it, today in practice, and just understanding the type of team we're playing this week, and they've beat some really good football teams this year already, and they play hard, they play physical, and I tell you, if you're not ready for this one, it's going to be a long day, up in Pittsburgh.
How important was it for Buster to have a game like that? At the start of the season, you told us that those young guys on the roster are only going to get better by being out of this. How important was that?
Well, I think it just adds to his confidence, and the level that he has, and it just to play a full, game, and if he gets that opportunity again this week, we'll see. But I just think from a confidence standpoint, it just adds to his ability, and but again, going back and you got to evaluate. You got to be critical of your own performance sometimes, right? You got to make the necessary corrections to be able to move on. That's what good players do, and that's what he'll do this week in practice. But just overall, it was solid, and it's something that again, the confidence is just where it's at with him.
When you're delivering your message to the team every week or off season or whatever, how important is it to you that sometimes it's light, and funny, as opposed to all these kind of facts and handling like that?
There's a balance with that. There's a time and a place for certain things and messaging, and days like Wednesdays, which is the kind of the first week or the first day of the week. You try to set the tone, right, as a head coach. You try to set the tone for the week and kind of your expectations and things of that nature. But look, I enjoy keeping it as light as I can too, with the players, and again, it's a long season, and we got to have fun and enjoy, what we do, and but at the same time, I think it's important that you do, set a kind of a precedent for the week.
Was that something that you played for a coach that was never like that, or was that just kind of your personality anyway?
think it's a little bit my personality, but the head coaches I've played for have kind of been the same way. You know, Wednesday's always been sort of set the tone for the week, but I've also seen those guys, those coaches that now once you set that tone, it's on the players, you know, it's on their plate, right? So now you just kind of keep feeding them bits of information and things throughout the course of the week, but at the same time, you know, you've got to enjoy the journey and enjoy the process, you know, as you go.
To what degree would you say takeaways have had kind of impact they've had so far on your season?
I think if you just look at the numbers, it tells the tale. You know, I mean, it's significant that, you know, when the numbers favor us, you know, chances are, if you go back to the, what was the Colts game, I think, you know, that's 17 points that come off of takeaways. And that's huge. You know, that's 3 possessions. And you know, it's big for our team, you know, and it's opportunistic. And the team we're playing this Sunday is the same way, right? When they have 2 or more takeaways, you know, in the last, go back to 22. I mean, they're winning football games. When they have 3 or more sacks, they're winning more of these games, you know. And so it's in the numbers. And so for us we've got to continue that, you know. We do make a point of emphasis during the week, you know, to do that. And at the same time, offensively, we've got to take care of the football. And we haven't done such a great job of that, you know, in the first 7 games either.
How hard do you think it'll be to sustain what you guys are doing right now at the department?
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, yeah, you hope you can. I mean, you know, takeaways kind of come in bunches and waves, and you ride the wave a little bit, and you just continue to emphasize it, you know, and guys are doing a great job of either tackling the football or, you know, at least attacking the football and the punt. You see it week in and week out. And again, I'll just emphasize, you know, Pittsburgh and what they do. They do the same thing. You know, they emphasize that, and they're being, you know, the same tip passes turn into interceptions and things of that nature. So, you know, you hope it's sustainable, and you think you can do that, you know, for the course of the season. But again, you know, you got to make a point to do it.
How to have TJ Watt singled up, and I mean, it doesn't appear he gets many one-on-one opportunities. How much do you afford to by yourself?
Never. He's a great player. I mean, just a great player over the course of his career. He's got 8 sacks already this season, and you know, you have to understand that this is a good player, and he's a great player, and you give him the respect that he is due. He's earned that, and you know, you have to you know, sort of spend some resources, you know, in that direction. But they also have another one on the other side that can get after you as well, and you know, Highsmith is another one that can rush the passer. 2 sacks of his own. So it's kind of a 2-headed monster, you know, with these guys. So it's very, as an offense, you got to be very aware of the down, the distance, the situation of the game. Obviously, run, pass, all those different things factor into, you know, how you're going to handle, you know, this front.
You're halfway through almost halfway through the season. Is this where you expected your team to be and how you expected to
Yeah, quite honestly, you expect to be in this situation, you know. We can still play better. I think there's a lot left out on the field each weekend that we can learn from and improve, especially the back half of the season. And you know, it's a credit to the players, though, you know, and we've had our share of injury, and guys have stepped up and have played well in backup situations. And you know, we're just anticipating some of our guys, whether it's this week or after the bye, getting healthy and getting back on the field. But you know, your expectation is to win every game, obviously, and we haven't, but pleased with where we are right now.
So how much did you guys look at George Pickens during the draft process, and how much of a threat does he pose now on the other side?
Yeah, we took a hard look, at him and really all the guys, obviously in the draft, but he is he's a good player. He's a dominant player. He's big and athletic. He runs well. He catches the ball. He can high point. I mean, I think he's about 18.5 yards per attempt. I mean, he's 3 100-yard games this year already. They do a great job of throwing the back shoulder fade. He can run past you. He does a great job running slants. I mean, there's not a lot that he really can't do, and he blocks well. So he's playing at a high level, for them, and the quarterback is very comfortable with him.
Calvin Ridley's.
Anybody else?
You may want to cut me off. Calvin Ridley's 2 big games this season.
I'm right here. You don't have to yell.
Both been with Zay Jones on the field and healthy. Is that coincidental, or is there something maybe there to that?
Say that again.
Calvin Ridley has 2 significant performances, and the rest have been pretty mediocre. Those 2 have come with Zay healthy and on the field. Coincidental, or you think there's something there that maybe Zay
Well,
frees up helps
I
Calvin?
wouldn't use the word mediocre because defenses know Calvin Ridley, and just go back to this last game when they inverted a lot of coverage to him. So there was a guy underneath, there was a guy over the top. There's not a lot of places to throw the football. So, defenses understand what Calvin can do, and having Zay on the field definitely opens up more things, offensively. And we're anticipating Zay, any day, potentially this week or in the near future. But again, Calvin's been a big. He's going to continue to be a big part of the offense, right? And the success that we have is going to be because of Calvin's success on the field, and we just have to understand that defenses are going to be aware of where he is, and they're going to defend him, much like T.J. Watt. I mean, we got to know where he's at, so to try to eliminate some of that. So, kind of a give and take there.
Trevor, who can wear the knee brace?
I don't know. Might be a question you ask him.
Doug, with the offense in the second.
I don't know. I'm not wearing it.
With the offense in the second half, quite a few 3 and outs against the Saints, slow second half against the Colts. How much do you contribute that to just a matter of you're not getting the possessions, defense is on the field for a long time, and maybe you can't get lathered up on offense, or are there actual tangible things you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, there's some tangible things with execution, much like the beginning of the game. We've kind of corrected some of that at the beginning. It's the second half, right? And some of that's execution. Some of that is how our opponent comes out, and they have a little more sense of urgency on how they're going to play us in the second half. And but yeah, it's things that we can address the team with, same things that we can show the team. So all fixable, all correctable, obviously, and we definitely have to play better in those moments. We have to sort of maximize, or minimize the lulls, I guess, and maximize the opportunities, throughout the entire football game.
Doug, this is a little off topic, but Bob Sutton, I know you know him for a while. What does he really bring, as a coach, and especially, to the defense and better, I guess,
Yeah, Bob's been a D coordinator. He and I were together in Kansas City, and when he was a D coordinator there, and just a wealth of knowledge of the league. And one of the things that he does, obviously, assisting Mike and just helping Mike, and as a young coordinator, and putting plans together. And probably the biggest thing that he does is he does a lot too with the takeaways and priding our defense on that messaging, and how he addresses the team there. And he does a lot of studies that way. He does little side projects for the defense. He'll do things for myself, and just a valuable resource, in that position, and doesn't have to coach a position necessarily. Kind of sees everything big picture, and really is another voice for Mike and the guys on defense.
As a player, when you have somebody like that, it's kind of like a wealth of knowledge. Just how valuable is that, having a presence?
As a player, I think it means a lot, you know, because he's seen a lot of football and he's studied a lot of football, so he's probably got a lot of answers, you know, for a player who's asking questions, who, you know, obviously get the question from or the answer from your position coach, but he's another resource for you, you know, and it's just valuable to have guys like that have had that kind of experience.
Seemed like some of the game plan on Sunday was to kind of protect Trevor Field a little bit, get the ball out of his hands fast. Any worries about that going into this next week, or is it just back to normal?
I mean, we're going to obviously be aware of that every week, you know, but, you know, now that, you know, Trevor has the knee, obviously it's something that you just don't want too many hits on the lower body and things of that nature. But as we've had time here these last couple of days, you know, Trevor's getting more healthy every single day, and he feels good. And, you know, it doesn't change necessarily. I credit to the offensive line. It was probably their best game in pass blocking, you know, against the Saints, you know, last Thursday. And just keeping Trevor upright in the pocket, and then Trevor doing a nice job, too, of when he could move, he moved, and, you know, picked up some valuable yards there, and also got the ball out of his hand. So just got to continue that sort of, you know, mentality, not only with Trevor, but with the offensive line, too.
Just a good last question. Is Minka Fitzpatrick the type of player you have to know where he's at?
Yeah, you know, he's a really good blitzer, good tackler. You know, he's a leader on defense, obviously, and they move him around a pretty good bit, you know, back there. So yeah, having an eye on him and understanding where he's at, you know, is critical, you know, and understanding whether he's going to pressure or not, things of that nature. But he does a nice job, you know, for them. He's very comfortable, obviously, on defense, and again, another one of their leaders over there.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Yep.